Athens did not kill Socrates for what he taught. Athens killed him for what he made men see about themselves. He claimed no doctrine. He asked questions until the man before him heard his own contradictions and could not unhear them. The charge was impiety. The crime was reflection. This is not ancient history. This is your story. Welcome to power and myth. Socrates walked the Athenian agora in the 5th century before Christ, and he made a habit of stopping powerful men. He did not lecture them. He did not contradict them. He asked one question, then another, then another. The general who claimed to know what courage was, the priest who claimed to know what holiness was, the orator who claimed to know what justice was. By the end of the conversation, each of them had spoken themselves into a wall. They had not been told they were wrong. They had been shown in their own words that they had never thought it through. Socrates called himself a gadfly. The gadfly does not bite the great horse of the state. It stings the horse awake. And horses, when stung, kick. In 399 BCE, Athens tried him on charges of impiety and corrupting the young. He was given the cup of hemlock. He drank it. The men who condemned him did not hate his ideas. They hated what they had seen of themselves while standing in front of him. This is the function we are tracing. Not teaching, not prophecy, not warning. Reflection. The kind of presence that does not need to accuse, because the accusation is already inside the person who looks. Centuries before Socrates, a similar function appeared in a different room, and the man on the receiving end was a king. Nathan was a prophet in the court of David. David was at the height of his power. He had taken Bathsheba, another man's wife. He had arranged for her husband Uriah to be killed in battle and made it look like the chance of war. The crime was clean on the surface. The conscience was not. Nathan did not arrive in court and accuse the king. Nathan told a story. There were 2 men in a city, he said, one rich, one poor. The rich man had many flocks. The poor man had only one ewe lamb, and he loved it like a daughter. A traveller came to the rich man. Rather than slaughter one of his own animals, the rich man took the poor man's only lamb and served it for dinner. David, listening, became furious. He pronounced judgment. The man who did this deserves to die. Then Nathan looked at him and said 4 words. You are the man. David did not need to be argued with. He had already condemned himself in his own voice before he understood that he was the rich man. The mirror was the parable, the judgment was the king's own. Nathan did not bring information. He brought form. The form let the king see what he had been refusing to see for a year. The same function, in another culture, wore Motley. The court fool sat at the king's feet and was permitted to speak what no minister could say. He could mock the queen's vanity, the king's appetite, the ambition of the favourite, because he stood outside the structure of power. He carried no rank. He held no land. His tongue was licensed precisely because he had nothing to lose. And in the moment when the king laughed, the king also heard. The fool said the unsayable. Because it was wrapped in a joke, the king could receive it without admitting he had heard. There was a function in every old court that someone had to perform, the one who could say what the room already knew, but could not name. In Greek myth there was a different version of this figure, one who found the price of the function unbearable. Cassandra, daughter of the king of Troy, was given the gift of prophecy by Apollo. When she refused him, he could not take the gift back, but he laid a curse upon it. She would always see truly, and she would never be believed. The classical telling is that she warned of the wooden horse. She warned of her own death. She warned of every catastrophe before it landed, and every time she spoke, the room turned away. What this myth holds beneath the surface is something the classical telling does not say outright. The people in the room had often felt the unease themselves. They had sensed what Cassandra named. Her warning did not introduce the knowledge. It returned it to them in a form they could no longer pretend not to see. And that is why she was hated. The mirror is loved when it confirms what the person already wants to know about themselves. The mirror is hated when it returns what has been carefully buried. You recognize this. You have always recognized this. Because this is not the story of dead men and old gods. This is the pattern you are living. You have been Nathan in a meeting where everyone except you was pretending the project was on track. You have been Socrates at a dinner table, asking the one question that made the room fall silent and resent you for it. You have been the fool, saying the obvious thing in a tone somewhere between joke and warning, hoping it could be received that way. and you have been Cassandra, the one whose accuracy is the very reason no one will look at you. This is the mirror bearer. This is your archetype. The Power and Myth Framework names 7 INFJ archetypes. Elsewhere on this channel I have spoken of the seer, who perceives what others cannot. I have spoken of the wandering witness, who carries memory between communities and leaves before the door closes. The mirror bearer is something distinct. The seer foretells, the witness moves through. The mirror bearer stays still and shows. What the mirror bearer does is not prophecy. What looks like an uncanny gift is, in cognitive terms, two functions working together. Introverted intuition reads the unspoken pattern. Extroverted feeling registers the gap between what the person performs and what they actually carry. Jung had a name for this combination of functions long before personality testing existed. The patterns are old, only the language has changed. This is the inheritance, the capacity to walk into a room and read it, to know within minutes what is being avoided, to feel the shape of what no one will say. It is, on the days it works, an extraordinary gift. People will trust you with what they have told no one else. They will arrive at insights about themselves while speaking to you, and credit you with a wisdom you did not even offer. You held the mirror. They saw themselves, they felt clearer afterwards, and the next day, sometimes the next hour, something else can happen. The same person who confided in you the night before begins to cool. They stop returning your messages with the same warmth. They speak about you when you are not there, as though you were too intense, too much, hard to be around. You read this and assume you have done something wrong. You have not. The cooling is the second movement of the mirror bearer's pattern. Some part of the person you reflected has felt seen, and some part has felt exposed. The exposure is not your fault. It is what mirrors do. But the response is to move away from the mirror, and often, eventually, to resent it. This is the mirror bearer's inheritance, and the mirror bearer's wound, held in the same hand. You are sought when truth is wanted. You are punished for having held it. This is what the comments on the previous two videos kept circling. The pain of leaving was named. The pain of seeing was named. The third pain is the one that brought this video into being. It is the pain of being needed for the truth you carry, and resented for having been the one to carry it, to be sought, then ostracized, to be confided in, then frozen out, to be told when the worst was happening that you were the only one who understood, and to find, when the worst had passed, that the person no longer wants the witness who saw them at the bottom. They have rebuilt their self-image. The witness is now an inconvenience. The mirror bearer's shadow is bitterness. It would be strange if it were not. To do this work without bitterness requires a particular kind of holding. What did these old figures know that you can know? Nathan did not stay in David's court to be praised. The function was performed, the king was changed, and Nathan stepped back. The fool did not believe his own jokes were the truth. They were the form the truth had to take. Socrates did not assume the agora would thank him. When the agora killed him, he met the cup with composure that the dialogues record but rarely explain. He had known all along that the gadfly is killed by the horse it stings awake. He did not stop stinging. He did not expect gratitude either. The mirror bearer's survival is built on this. Hold the truth. Show it. Do not require the room to love you for having shown it. Do not perform the function for an audience. Perform it because you cannot, in honesty, do otherwise. And then step back. Do not stay in the room waiting to be thanked for what you held up. The mirror does not require gratitude. Mirrors are not in the business of being loved. They are in the business of being clear. You are not alone in this pattern. The mirror bearer has stood in courts, dinner halls, and city squares for centuries. As long as people have gathered into rooms and agreed not to see what was happening between them, this figure has been present. The lineage is long. Nathan is in it. Socrates is in it. The fools who are remembered only as footnotes are in it. Cassandra is in it, and her shadow is the warning. Bitterness is the cost of forgetting that the work is the work and not the reward for the work. You did not develop this capacity. You received it. And the function does not cease to be needed simply because the room sometimes hates the one who performs it. The bitterness is optional. The function is not. The world will continue to need rooms in which someone can hold up a mirror. The world will also continue to be uncomfortable with the one who holds it. You will not be thanked the way you sometimes wish to be. You will be thanked sometimes in ways you will not see. The boy who heard you ask the right question at the right time. The friend who finally left the relationship because you were the only one who said what everyone else was avoiding. The colleague who listened to your one comment in a meeting and went home and changed something. You may not learn about any of this. The mirror does not always get to see what it has shown. If something in this video named what you have carried in silence, I want to hear which moment landed hardest. The pain of leaving, the pain of seeing, or this third pain, the one we have just walked through. Please tell me in the comments. Your responses shape the previous 2 videos in this thread, and the next will be shaped by what you say below this one. Subscribe to Power and Myth if you want to keep tracing the lineage together. You are part of something here. Until next time, find your power, know your myth,